How is it to be back on the road with new music? It must feel fresh and exciting to be back.
It feels really cool. It feels, I mean, we played one big show already, and it was just felt like just a perfect day. It just felt great.
Yeah, and like we played Sick. We played that there. So we haven't even like played loads of the tracks from our first album. We've already started playing songs from the second one, which is quite funny.
But that must be weird. You released the debut album last year, Open Up Your Head, and you weren't allowed to play shows until now. How does it feel to go back on the road with that music, with new music? How do you combine it?
We're making sure we're playing a lot from the album we put out, you know, and we're touring. We're not going to forget that, you know, it means a lot to us, and we're just going to keep it exciting. I guess like we just played Sick the other day, and we're going to see what happens. But we're going to feel our way through. But yeah.
And there's a lot of like, because half the songs we haven't played, it was like when we're writing the set, we're like, oh, do you really want to know? We're like, we never played Do You Really Want to Know live, and then we're like, I think people are going to go for it, and then when we actually get to finally play it live, everyone was like going crazy.
That was incredible, wasn't it? Actually,
great, yeah.
Do you really want to know? It felt great. I mean, just everything was just going like that. The crowd,
exactly. But we just didn't know until literally when we played it then what people were going to like, you know, react to it.
I almost felt like we had played it before, and I realized, all right, this is our first time.
But that's interesting, because the shows you will play now are much bigger than you maybe expected last year. Bigger rooms, bigger stages.
Yeah, I mean, that's all good stuff. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, we're not complaining. Yeah.
There is a new song, I played it yesterday. It's stuck in my head until now. It's called Sick, and you wrote it during this pandemic, right?
Yeah. It was written around, I think it was like November or something like that. It was just as sort of a lockdown had sort of just lifted, but still not much going on in the UK. And I think like the sort of pressures of that first lockdown and everything, and the weird and everything halting, just intensified it and kind of put the seedbed for that song, really, just going down, being sick of a lot, being in that mood. I think that was probably brought on by all that. So it's great to be here and like playing it in a more positive world, I think. Yeah.
But the lyrics of the song are quite intense. Really
Big
intense.
Time. Yeah, they're very intense, and it's a very intense song. It means a lot to me. It's very intense, and I think it wasn't necessarily a song. It's so direct. I don't think we've written anything that direct before. Yeah, the first times we were playing it in, when we were putting it together in the studio, I was like trying to hold back. You know, I got pretty emotional with it. So, yeah, it means a lot, that song.
How was it for you guys to hear these lyrics, Ollie?
Yeah, I mean, we got like this kind of demo of it from Henry, and instantly I was like, this is a great song. We definitely need to do it. And I guess for us, it's about getting that production to really focus on the lyrics, because it is all about the lyrics. I mean, the tune is great too, but definitely the focus is on the lyrics. And it was just kind of crafting a song that really delivered those. And I think we kind of looked a bit like, we listened to a lot of hip hop songs. I remember us Googling like hip hop songs, 120 beats per minute, and listening to all of them and being like, okay, what, like, because they're all so simple. It's like kind of a repetitive backing, but like it keeps it interesting. It was kind of, how do we distill and like keep that feeling that this song has?
Yeah, I think we really managed to, in that way, everyone just like get the song. It's not like trying to push you up into the clouds at any point. It just stays in. It's like that message just, you know, I think we did really well all together, like just like sort of lifting those lyrics up, basically, just keeping it in the same vibe the whole way through. Yeah.
Let's listen to the song now and then talk about more, because there's a lot more Seagirls coming up. Maar dit is de nieuwe single, dit is Sick. Yesterday was an album announced. The second album. How I heard a lot of artists had trouble with the second album syndrome, maybe. Was it as hard as the second album should be?
I don't think so. Do you think it was hard, Ollie? I didn't think it was hard.
I guess like maybe it was hard because we'd all written so many songs, maybe like 50 to 100 songs.
Wow.
Actually, maybe the hard part was trying to whittle that down to what we wanted. And I guess the hardest part was that we did it with Larry, who produced the first album, but also this guy, Jack Knife Lee, who was working in LA. So it was like sending stuff to him and like being 12 hours out. We never actually really talked to him because he'd be asleep when we'd be awake and stuff. So it was a lot of, you know, he said, she said emails and stuff. So kind of that part was hard. And I think if it had all been done in the room together, it would have been a lot kind of smooth. It worked and got us these great songs. So obviously something went well.
It almost shouldn't have worked, but it did. I think like when you hear it, you know, and when people hear it, like they'll see that like, I really feel like we pulled this off, you know, and it's pretty cool. Like in that difficult setting that Ollie was talking about, you know, we managed to, we surpassed the first album, and it means a lot, you know, like the songs, we're giving something new, you know, it's more direct, and it just sounds bigger. Yeah. So it was hard in that way, but yeah, I think song wise, we were just,
there's a lot kicking around, and there's still, you know, so many great songs we didn't record that we are still around. So you never know.
And now is the time to go back on the road. There are some festivals planned. The Reading Elite festivals, fingers crossed, the UK festivals will go on. Everything over here is cancelled again. But how is it to be back on a festival? You did the Latitude Festival. The minute you went on stage, how did it feel?
It was amazing, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of one of those weird things when it's like, I'd forgotten about everything until the second you step on stage, you're like, oh, this is it. This is what we love. And
yeah, it felt incredible. It you know, it was almost, can you see Alice in the background? Yeah. Anyway, yeah, it felt incredible. Just like going on, I think like in our heads, I don't know with you, Ollie, but with me, like I visualized it for like a year, like we needed to play, you know, it would be building up, you know, and we've been writing songs like Sick because of that sort of tension or whatever. But it just felt totally natural, totally brilliant. Like this is what it's all about. It was awesome.
Yeah, and you definitely kind of forget the adrenaline. I feel like in rehearsal, I'm like doing all these fancy things or whatever, and then as soon as you get on stage, I'm like, don't drop the sticks and just play the songs. Like Jesus.
I love the danger of a live gig, you know, so often I kind of I just love like pushing it as much as possible. I got into the crowd again or whatever, and just like that, it was fantastic. It was just
like literally as we pulled up, you saw like I think Sports Team were playing, and he dived literally the second we got out of the van, you saw him diving into the crowd. So we're like, all right, we're back. I said
to Ollie, I was like, you should just run straight out of the van and just start crowd surfing right now, because we parked right side of stage. That would have been pretty funny. Yeah. I didn't dare do it. So
but now you have to wait for the Europe tour almost more than half a year. Can you still wait for that gigs? Or are you you would like to go on the road again?
Yeah, we'd love it. I mean, when we did our European tour, that was such a special time. That was the last tour we did, and it was just great, just going and just getting stuck in, you know, playing amazing cities, you know.
It was great to like have that, because we'd literally done that the month before everything locked down. So we like still had that. Was like in our mind, and the fact that we got to like sneak in a really great tour just before then, because some bands won't have played for years, you know.
I think we feel really lucky that we got to play that first tour, you know, and there's still a while till the next one. But
and then when we come back, we're going to have a whole new album, so it's going to be like properly different.
Yeah.
I know the last show, Henry, you played in Rotown, Rotterdam. You jumped on the bar. It was a crowded, sweaty room. I can't wait to be in a room again with a band and a lot of people watching the same thing.
Yeah, I agree.
What was the last show you saw yourself, you guys?
What was the last show?
I remember. I know I got offered tickets to see 1975 and like just before, and I kicked myself that I didn't now go.
Yeah,
which is annoying. But I can't actually remember.
The last one I remember was Arctic Monkeys.
Wow,
that left a massive impression. I think that was just before Christmas. That was epic. I must have seen something after that, but that was in 2019, end of 2019. I think I watched Arctic Monkeys. Yeah, I watched King-Nun. I think that might have been my last gig. Yeah, in North London. Yeah, that was it. That was great.
But live music is coming back in the UK. There are still festivals. There are coming shows in venues. Later, hopefully, here you're playing the March next year in the Melkweg. That's a great venue. Awesome. With the new album. I can't wait to hear more. Are there any big surprises on the album? Maybe collaborations you worked with other artists, or is it just you guys?
I don't think there's any collaborations, nothing surprising in that way. I think there's just some massive songs on there. Like, I think I'm really like quite excited about everyone hearing this.
Yeah, and hopefully we've like pushed ourselves in different ways than we did on the first album. I don't think anything's like, there's stuff for people who love the first album, but there's definitely stuff for, newcomers that are going to be brought in. There's definitely, a little bit for everyone, hopefully.
100%. It's always about the songs, but yeah, I think it's just really good.
And now you have to wait half a year to release it.
We've got to wait, yeah. Well,
I feel like it'll go quick now, though.
I think it will happen fast. We just want people to make sure everyone's okay. Do you know what I mean? We're
giving whiplash.
We announced it a long time in advance so people can, do you know what I mean? Gather themselves. Everyone knows it's happening. We don't want to like catch anyone off guard. So everyone's okay. Yeah.
There is a new song. I can play it again on Kink. Thanks, guys. Henry, Ollie from Seagirls, and hopefully see you next time here in the studio finally again.
Absolutely.
Amazing. Yeah, we can't wait to come in.